In this week's video, we're going to be talking about perhaps one of the greatest entrepreneurs that has ever lived. Hey, Rob Spence here, the Managing Director of Paragon Sales Solutions. Thank you so much for joining me on another one of our best business book videos. If you've not been keeping up, every Wednesday we're releasing a video detailing our most reviewed, best recommended books. And this week is an absolute stonker. It's heavy, it's thick, and it's fat. It's Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Now you can see there how thick this is. And it's not just thick because the words are big. It's thick because it's just full. I mean, look, the words are still very, very tiny. This is an epic book, but you will learn so much from this. Now, whether or not you like Apple, whether or not you like Steve Jobs, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to read this book because there are things within this book, like I say, whether you like anything that Steve Jobs did, and we'll go on to that into a minute, there are still things within this book where you can pick up, learn, adapt, share stories, or put these stories into your speeches or pitches or whatever. It truly is a great book full of useful knowledge. Now, the reason I keep saying whether you like Steve Jobs or not is there is, of course, dare I say, and I'm not an expert in Steve Jobs, it's very important to say that, there's perhaps a darker side to Steve Jobs that very few of us saw, quite a, I don't know, dare I say, a power-hungry, a driven character, who of course sometimes let go of relationships or to kind of elevate himself and Apple. But it goes without saying, I'm filming this right now on one of his products. I've got another one of his products here and another one of his products there. In my drawer I've got 2 iPods. In my other drawer I've got an old iPad and I've got 3 old iPhones, and at work we've got another iPhone. It goes without saying that his impact has touched so many of us. And this book really tells his story from everything from the very early days, everything to Apple, to Next, to Apple again, and of course everything that happened thereafter. There's some lovely photos in there. Even this photo here, I think it just shows the kind of character this guy is. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to really try my best. But it's a photo of Steve Jobs just sitting in his house, and in here it talks about how he struggled to buy furniture for his house. He just liked everything simple, so sometimes he'd just sit on the floor. And it talks about how he was getting fed up of trying to decide what to wear on the day. It was just taking up too much time, so he just literally bought stacks of the same jumper and t-shirt, stacks of the same jeans, and just had them in the corner of his room, and he just picked them off one by one. So this is written by, I've forgotten the chap's name, Walter Isaacson, which with Steve Jobs' full cooperation, and is based on more than 40 interviews with Steve Jobs conducted over 2 years, as well as interviews with more than 100 family members, friends, adversaries, competitors and colleagues. This book chronicles the rollercoaster life and searingly intense personality of a creative entrepreneur whose passion for perfection and ferocious drive revolutionised 6 industries. Personal computers, animated movies, of course Pixar, I always forget about Pixar, music, phones, tablet computing and digital publishing. At a time when societies around the world are trying to build digital age economies, Jobs stands as the ultimate icon of inventiveness and applied imagination. He knew that the best way to create value in the 21st century was to connect creativity with technology. So he built a company where leaps of the imagination were combined with a remarkable feat of engineering. Although Jobs cooperated with this book, he asked for no control over what was written, nor even the right to read it before it was published. He put nothing off limits and instead encouraged people he knew to speak honestly. He says, "I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of, such as getting my girlfriend pregnant when I was 23 and the way I handled that," he said, "but I don't have any skeletons in my closet that can't be allowed out." Jobs speaks candidly, sometimes brutally, about the people he worked with and competed against. Likewise, his friends, foes and colleagues provide an unvarnished view of the passions, demons, perfectionism, desires, artistry, devilry and obsession for control that shaped his approach to business and the innovative products that resulted. Jobs could drive those around him to fury and despair, but his personality and products were interrelated, just as Apple's hardware and software tended to be. His extraordinary told through this masterly biography is filled with lessons about innovation, character, values, and leadership. And as I said before, we've all got to acknowledge that Steve Jobs was a fantastic entrepreneur, a fantastic inventor, and an even better marketer. So if you are in any kind of sales, marketing, business role, whether you own a business, this biography, although it is a very thick read, is perhaps one of the most important books that you need to read. Can't thank you enough for joining me for this week's edition of Rob's Best Business Books. They're not always going to be this thick, don't worry. There are going to be some smaller books, there's going to be some thinner books, more quick reads. But like I say, go grab a copy of this. Please do tune in next week. If you want a reminder as to when we post, just if you're on YouTube, just hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you're watching on Facebook, you can set notifications if I've set the videos up as premieres. And every Monday we'll release a blog corresponding to the vlog where you can find a link to buy your own copy of the books that we recommend. As always, I can't thank you enough for watching, and until next time, all the best.